Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Melissa Charlton. I am the owner of Embodied Strength. We are going live right now, in fact, but we're going to start in a few minutes with This Is How We Roll. It's a myofascial release workshop to help you get out of pain and move better in your body. We're going to be hitting some different trouble spots throughout the body. I'll go through all of that in just a moment. If you have your own material at home, you want a foam roller or tennis balls or lacrosse balls or the standard. These are the Alpha Twin balls from Yoga Tune-Up, and this is the Therapy Plus ball. This is the same size as a lacrosse ball. You could use one of these. So grab these, grab a yoga block or a stack of books if you're at home, and if you're just tuning in, you don't have time to watch for a long time, you can tune out and tune back in later. This will be up on our page. All right. Good morning, everybody just coming in. Hello, hello. We have everything on your mats you're going to need for the workshop. You've got a handout, you got some balls, you got a yoga block and a bolster. Let's see what else. If you didn't bring water, I suggest drink some now. We're going to want to hydrate throughout the practice, and I'll explain why more in a minute. But yeah, we want to start hydrated, not dehydrated, because otherwise you're going to be like, and we'll take a bathroom break if we need to, or you can just pop out and pop back in.
Are you actually reading these handouts during that?
Not necessarily. They're for reference. If I mention a muscle and you're like, where's that? In the handout, you'll see little anatomy maps. Yeah. And then the handouts are for you because we're not going to be able to hit all the spots. This is only 90 minutes, and 90 minutes is already a lot of rolling. So if I wanted to hit the whole body, that's like 3 hours. You guys will hate me. You're like, no, are we done yet? So yeah. For those of you tuning in at home, we are rolling in a couple of minutes. I hope Ezra can share the link in the comments or on our stories. We are doing this as a fundraiser for Peer Seattle. So here's our fundraiser. Here's our flyer for the day. We're doing this as a fundraiser for Peer Seattle. Peer Seattle supports the LGBTQ foundation, or not the foundation, but the LGBTQ plus community of Seattle with mental health and resources. Lord knows people of the LGBTQ plus community are under attack right now, so we want to do whatever we can do to help them. You don't have to donate to participate. You don't have to participate to donate. So if you have the availability in your finances, QR code is here. Ezra's also going to be sharing a link for donation, and dig into your pocket and help out our community. We've got 4 more people coming, so we'll give them a moment to get here. Let's see. Does everybody know each other? Not yet. You guys want to introduce yourselves to each other so far, so that we're all kind of on the same page?
I'm Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
This is Kate. Ashley. Kate.
Kate. 2 Kates.
Brian.
And Brian, you guys, this is my husband. Brian, so I planned this workshop, and then Melanie had a trip planned. I knew that was coming. Mia went on maternity leave, and Vanette, who is our new Mia, is unavailable. So Brian has very lovingly agreed to step in and help out today and be our cameraman and communicate with Ezra offline. Let's see. I haven't gotten any texts from anybody saying they were running late, but we'll give them another minute or two to arrive. Feel free to hang out for a second. Oh, everybody. Is anybody allergic to oranges? Okay, everybody take an orange. You'll see why.
Don't eat it yet.
Don't eat them yet. Yeah, I'm just going to put these on it. The apples are good there too for you, right? You can have an apple, but the orange is a prop that you do get to eat. So, people are going to be like, are we going to be rolling on oranges? No, that would be messy. Yeah, have a sit down, have a relaxing moment to yourself while we wait for everybody else to get here. No pressure to eat the orange if you were like, meh, I just brushed my teeth or something. No worries. All right, I think I want to get started, even though people are going to be coming in a couple of minutes late. So, this is how we roll. I have been teaching this workshop for, oh my gosh, off and on for at least 10 years. I started teaching it. This is something that calls to me specifically because I have a body that tends towards more inflammation and tightness, right? Some of us have bodies that tend towards mobility, and that brings its own issues, like hypermobility. And then there's the other side of the coin where we tend towards tightness, and both of those can bring inflammation to the joints. The tightness, come on in. Hi, welcome. How are you, Aisha?
The parking is very different on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. The garage doesn't open till 9, so that might be part of it too.
A lot of people home.
Yeah. That is really good feedback for me to remember for our next workshop. That we should let people know about the parking situation, that it's a little trickier on Saturday mornings, especially at this hour. This is also the first time we've done a workshop at this hour on a Saturday, where people are probably like moseying about their morning. So reconsider. We'll take feedback about timing as well. Happy to. All right. So this is how we roll myofascial techniques to move and feel better in your body. So a couple things. First off, what is fascia? We'll get into this more in just a moment, but fascia is a thin, tough, and stretchy connective tissue that wraps around most structures in the body, including your muscles. It supports and protects these structures. And since fascia is often intertwined with muscle, we just call it myofascia as a blanket term, meaning muscle and fascia together. So think of fascia almost like saran wrap, wrapping things up, right? And also twining through. And we'll get into that more in a moment. Let me give myself a little support and sit more comfortably. Why do we roll? Blood flow, first of all, but even if you feel flexible and pain-free, myofascial release, it increases blood flow and helps flush out toxins from tired muscles. So it's a great recovery tool after tough workouts. It helps rehydrate tissue, boost circulation, and speed up healing. What else do you need to know? So what leads to needing to roll? Well, poor posture, injury, or a lack of use can all lead to what we call trigger points. So trigger points are tight spots in myofascia that stay contracted even at rest. These knots reduce the blood flow, causing a buildup of waste and a lack of oxygen. So those little knots you get in your muscle are caused by, again, injury, disuse, poor posture, or just not poor posture, just posture. And then all of these things get irritated, which kind of bugs your nerves and leads to pain. And also, it kind of just pulls on, it tightens the muscle. So just imagine like a rubber band that's tied in a knot, right? And you're like, okay, this is tight, so I'm going to stretch it. So you're stretching this rubber band. It's got a knot right in the middle. What you're doing is stretching everything but the knot. The knot's just going to get more and more irritated. So what we need to do, come on in. Good morning. I heard parking was a little bit hard today. So yeah, welcome in. Choose a mat. So where was I? So instead of just stretching, we want to untie the knot. And that's where myofascial release comes in. A foam roller or a ball or two can really do a world of good to help kind of release the adhesions that lead to trigger points. What are trigger points? They're the knots in the muscle. But imagine, right, again, if this is a rubber band, right, and it's pulling on two joints, this joint as well as this joint, right? So if this has got a knot in it, you might refer pain down into your elbow or up into the shoulder. And it might even go further down the chain or up the chain into your neck. So if you have like a lot of neck pain, tension headaches, things like that, we want to roll around the shoulders, not just the neck. You can go directly to the site where you have pain, But if you really want to be effective, you want to go down the chain and up to release everything that's going on in there. Did I catch everything? Yes. I wanted to grab something quickly. My assistant left the room. I'm going to grab this from the shelves. All right. I have 2 references that I have used to learn a lot of my material. Of course, I have certifications, but then anytime somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, what's going on in my shoulder? It hurts when I do this. I come directly to this book. This is the Trigger Point Therapy Workbook, and mine is the 2nd edition. I've had it that long. I think it's now in the 8th edition. So the beauty of this book, this was designed by physical therapists and massage therapists. You find a chapter here that has, here's the trigger point guide. So if you have, you guys can't see this, but you can always reference this as in the back room. If you have pain, say you have pain at the front of your shoulder, it's going to tell you what muscle to work on, and it's going to put it in priority and what page it's on. So it's going to say, okay, front of shoulder pain, it's going to say go to your infraspinatus, which is kind of along the backside of the shoulder blade. So in spite of the fact that the pain is here, we're going to roll back here because these guys understand trigger points. So this is a really good reference tool we have back here. Also, you can get it from the library or buy it and keep it for yourself. And then the role model, this is written by Jill Miller, and she is a physical therapist and yoga teacher, and she wanted to help people learn how to feel better in their body. She designed the balls that we're using, the alpha tune-up balls, the yoga tune-up balls, the alpha twin, as well as the, some of us have lacrosse balls because I didn't have quite enough of the mid-size and smaller balls, but she designed all of these balls. What I like about these is that they have a little bit of cush. They have some give, so they're not quite as cruel. You're like, if I used to teach this workshop with actual softballs, like the softballs you play softball with. Those are not soft, they hurt. They're effective, but they're kind of brutal. So these are really helpful. Some of you guys have brand new ones because I didn't have quite enough. What we're going to do after this is mark down the ones that we used for the workshop for anyone to purchase if you'd like for 15% off today. So these are both available in my library if you're curious. And then you could always buy them as well. I really like buying used books too because people buy these and then think they don't need them anymore. So they're always available used someplace. All right. Second page. Oh, wait, what did I want to say? Pro tip, drink plenty of water. So if you're not hydrated, hydrate. When we roll, it releases a lot of stored toxins from the muscle and fascia. And that can leave you feeling kind of gross afterwards, kind of sick and hungover almost. So if you went out last night and had a whole bunch of cocktails, we sent out an email asking you not to because I didn't want you guys to feel gross after this. Hi, welcome. Come on in. We got seats for you right up front. No worries. We haven't covered much. I just explained some of why we're doing this. So yeah, if you went out on a bender last night, you might feel pretty awful after this. I don't think most of our clients do that, but just saying. Hydrate. Just like when you finish a massage, your massage therapist is going to be like, please drink some water. Yes, please drink some water. And then, yeah, motion is lotion. So rolling and movement go hand in hand. Roll before you work out if you've got a particularly tight area, and let's say you've got some restriction, like you bring your arm up overhead and it's all pinchy, we can help you roll that out. But then also roll afterwards if you had a particularly heavy lift. So on days when I'm like, oh yeah, more weight on my deadlift, right? I'm going to make sure I roll my glutes and quads and lats so that tomorrow I'm not as sore. Because that just kind of helps flush out all of the waste that you're building. Because when we strength train, we're kind of breaking down the muscle in order to stimulate muscle growth. But all of the waste from breaking down the muscle lives in the muscle fiber, and we want to push it out so that you don't end up with adhesions or as bad as next day muscle soreness. All right, page 2. we're not going to go through this whole thing. I just want to go through a little bit. So, fascial structure as compared to a navel orange. Navel oranges, some of you guys walked in the door last minute. Is anybody allergic to oranges? No. Okay. So, navel orange. You can peel this if you want. We'll bring around a garbage can. When you peel an orange, this outermost bit of the orange is the superficial fascia. So superficial fascia, you can feel superficial fascia when you roll your skin like this, right? The fascia that is on top of all of the muscle is your superficial fascia. It holds everything together. Then inside the orange, the deep fascia, this would be like the pith, like you peel off all the peel of the orange, but there's still kind of something holding the orange together. That's the next layer of fascia, your epimysium, the deep fascia. Right? We still go even deeper. We've got a fascicle, your paramysium. That is this little bit of, like the little piston that goes down the center of the orange and holds all the muscle fibers together. That's the fascicle. And then finally, the endomysium. So the orange segments themselves are wrapped as well, and that's the deepest bit of fascia. So your bicep tendon is or your biceps are wrapped in fascia. Each muscle fiber has fascia connecting it to another piece of muscle. And then that all kind of comes together. It weaves together kind of like a web surrounding and through the muscle fibers. And then it becomes tendons and ligaments at the end, connecting bone to bone, muscle to bone. So tendons connect muscle to bone and ligaments connect bone to bone. And that's how we move our body around. So if you're feeling tight, restricted fascia can really help. Like if you can roll it out, this will really help. All right. That is why we roll. That is the mechanism for what we're doing, right? So pressure, it doesn't have to be wailing on the muscle. You don't have to be really brutal, but some pressure point, sustained pressure can really help things to kind of like calm down and relax. Ooh, look, I did it in 16 minutes. I'm proud of myself. We have a lot to get through. All right. Guys, I gave you so much material. If we did all of this, it would take us a couple of hours. So I want to kind of know, I want 5 of the top complaints in your body that you would want to focus on. I'm definitely going to hit the glutes. We're definitely going to get the neck, the jaw. I want to get some of the shoulders, but I want to know where in the shoulders and where in the glutes. Like, what pain do you guys have that we need to focus on?
Lower back.
Low back. Okay. SI joint. Okay. Say glutes and outer hips. Okay. So these are all complementary to each other. Awesome. Anything else I should know?
Upper back.
Upper back. So let's get a little bit deeper. Upper back, what is the complaint in the upper back?
General.
Just general? Like we're all like this, we're like in shrimp pose all day long? Okay. Under the shoulder blades kind of area, right? You talk low back.
Yes.
During what? What hurts in your low back when you do what movement or when you're not moving?
So, well, right now I hurt it. So it's bending particularly. So it's like right here. If depending on how I bend my back, it will sort of spasm. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So.
It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. We'll be both mindful and careful about it.
Yeah.
And also, like, this should help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's part of why I figured.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, I've already mentioned glutes, or I've already mentioned the balls. Some of you guys walked in a little bit late. We're going to be using the Alpha Tune-Up balls, the Yoga Tune-Up balls. These are the Alpha Twin balls. Some of you guys have brand new balls that we pulled out of the closet. Some of you guys have some we've used. Everybody on the back row and then this front quarter has brand new balls. Those are going to be for sale for 15% off afterwards. The 3 of you in the front row are using balls that have already been opened and used. Those are not for sale. If you want to buy some, we'll sell you some that are new, right? Oh, I think yours are new. So you and me have not as new. Okay, so with these guys, since we're going to start, I want to start with the glutes. So you have, And you've got your hand up. You don't have to necessarily look at it because I'm going to be your guide. And this is all going to be something you can take home and try on your own afterwards if you'd like. So you're going to take this ball and we're going to go for 2 spots on your body. So first we're going to go right into main glute, and then we're going to go out to the side of the glute along the side of the butt. And then we're going to trace it to the front pocket. This is your TFL. And then we're going to end in the hip flexor. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing on the second side. This is going to help a ton with any kind of back pain. Couple of caveats, things to watch out for. If you're on a spasm, if you're on a muscle that you know likes to spasm, don't roll directly on that muscle yet. You want to hit a neighboring muscle because that muscle is already like, imagine like a scared cat. It's just going to hiss at you and make it and get angrier and more afraid. So you want to be near it and then eventually on the actual spasmy area. Also, if you feel anything like sparky or hot, that's a nerve that might already be kind of pissed off. Again, let's not mash that nerve. Like we're basically like fleshy robots with all of the nerves. So if a nerve is already mad, just imagine you're stepping on a wire that's already a little bit frayed. You're just going to make it more mad. Nerves take quite a while to heal, so we want to roll around them and release the muscles that might be putting pressure on them, and then give them some movement to help them recover and relax. So if you feel anything zappy, move the ball to another spot. Is anybody in here possibly pregnant? Okay. Anyone in here have an inguinal hernia? You would know. You would most likely know. And they generally affect men, but still. And I ask that because we're at one point going to be putting the ball right here. So for pregnancy, not ideal. For the inguinal hernia, also possibly avoid this. It says this in your packet. All right. So starting with the glute, we're going to set up, get my stuff out of the way. We've got bolsters and blocks. They're to help you mitigate how much weight you're putting on things. Sometimes they're there to prop the ball up so it's easier to reach. Yeah, you got a lot of stuff in your place. We got a garbage right there if you've got peels around you want to get rid of. So have those nearby. We've tried to give you guys enough space, and it's going to be a little messy. Balls are going to roll around. You're going to be like a puppy chasing it. It's okay. No big deal. So starting with the glute. Which way do I want to be? I'll be this way so we can see. You're going to start laying on your back. So laying on your back, this way you have control of how much weight you put down on the ball. I'm going to bridge my hips up to the sky and then put the ball right underneath one butt cheek and then lay down on top of it. And this way I can choose how much weight to put down. I can really relax onto it. Or I can keep my feet planted and just do a little side-to-side shimmy. So let's all do that. Set yourself up in position. And I'll be walking around helping. And what you're going to do is look for trouble. So let's all start on the right side if you haven't. I think everybody has, almost. Okay, everybody on the right side. That way I know when we get to the other side, we're all going to be kind of turning the same direction, etc. So a little side-to-side shimmy of your hips. And we want to you can be at the bottom curve of your butt, but honestly, more of the trouble is going to be in the middle or top end of the curve of your butt. Rolling out towards the side and back, doing a little side-to-side samba sway of your hips to make it happen. When you find a place that's a little bit like, that's a spot. If it's a spasm, move to something nearby. If it's hot or electric, move to something nearby. If neither of those are true, stay there. Take some deep breaths to try and calm your nervous system. And then we're going to take your affected leg and we're going to clamshell it out to the side. Open the knee and close it. Open and close.
Wait, the one with the ball under it?
Yep, the one with the ball under it. The affected leg. It hurts. So we do the broccoli first, and then we get into the cheesecake. So we're doing the intense stuff early. The body, when it's confronted with something like this, we have to give it some good positive self-talk. This is not a bear. It's not a velociraptor. It's just ourselves. And you can be in charge of how much pain you absorb or allow. And then as you do this, what else? So yeah, talking yourself through it. You only have to put it on so much weight, and then you can move the ball to another spot and continue going. Notice if you feel a referred sensation down or up the chain. So into the low back or down the leg. If you feel anything like that, that also could be a nerve that's angry. The kind of leg, just being mindful, paying attention. I know. Feedback and questions while we're here.
Looks like I need this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things when I get massages, they're like, where do you want me to focus? I'm like, my neck and shoulders and my butt. Like, really get your elbow in there. But I've also built up quite a pain tolerance after using these for years. Okay, so now we've got it on the side of the butt, or on the back of the butt. We're going to turn a little bit to the side. This is where your bolster is really going to come in handy. So I'm going to show you this, and then when you guys come back into position, you'll do it. And then when we do the other side of your hips, you'll kind of start over, or I won't have to demonstrate as much. I have this bolster here, and it can be, I have the small bolster. If you need more bolster, we have more back there, or you can also use a yoga block. So what this is going to do is make it so I don't have to put all of my weight down on the side of my butt, because all of this weight can be a little rough. Now, I'm in like this kind of modified side plank. I'm going to lift my hip up, and I'm going to put the ball on my glute medius. Glute medius is the side butt muscle behind your front hip bone. All right? And it's actually kind of long. It goes from your femur, like this right here. Don't roll this. This is a bursa. You're going to piss it off. Stay in the soft, squishy muscle fiber. It's still going to hurt, but you don't want to be right where, like right here where the IT band crosses, and you'll feel it. You'll be like, that doesn't feel right. I'm rolling bone. Yes. Don't focus on the bone right here. Go above it into the squishy muscle of the side of your butt. This little kind of indentation here. So, setting yourself up with a prop so that you can choose how much weight you put down on here. You lay on your side, put the ball underneath. My legs are going to stay here to kind of help me set up. And I'm going to roll forward and back or up and down until I find the spot. And then when I find the spot, I'm going to give myself some gentle self-talk and be like, it's okay. This is good for me. And try to relax. And if it starts to feel better, I'm going to take away some support. Okay? Give it a try. Who needs more support from their bolster? The bolster should not be under your shoulder. It should be like under your neck. It should be between like armpit and hip, somewhere along the side of your body to absorb some weight. Yeah. Good. I know it's awkward. Yoga block, bolster. I have another bolster for you if you want. I'm just going to move this back a tiny bit. Yeah. This is generally one of the twitchier spots in your body. So if you're like, oh, what's going on? Yeah. This is, when people said SI joint, this is my first place I go to when somebody has SI pain. The reason is when this is tight, so your glute medius's job is to abduct your leg. I'll come over here so you guys don't have to turn and look at me up front. Glute medius's job is to abduct your leg. So kick it out to the side, or to stabilize your hips when you're walking, right? And if this muscle is tight, then it's going to pull on the connecting joints. The connecting joints are your pelvis and your SI. So tight SI, grabby SI, pinchy, roll your glute medius, roll your glute max. Okay, we're going to stay here for a minute. I know. We got the air on high because when we roll out, it makes people sweat. So if you're like, why am I so hot already? Because it's what happens. It's normal and expected. We'll stay here for another moment. Oh, I had music playing. Let me turn it back on. It feels weird to be in the gym without any music. And then my background as a yoga teacher, I definitely don't want it to be too upbeat for this kind of practice. Yep. If you've never done this, it's going to be really gnarly. Like gnarly in the close to knotted wood sense of the word as possible. Lots of knots, lots of dehydrated or just congested fascia. I like to think of it like, when it's all foggy as opposed to a clear day, right? Or when there's a lake and the water flow is kind of blocked up on one area and it's not flowing. It's kind of gross over there. This is kind of one of those spots that often gets troubled, especially with everything we do to you guys in the gym. All right. We're going to move to the TFL. So the TFL is your tensor fascia lata, blah, blah, blah. The TFL is the top of your IT band. So when we talk about rolling your IT band, if you were rolling your IT band because maybe you have like runner's knee and somebody said to roll your IT band, you're just going to kind of go up and down a little bit with a foam roller to hydrate the muscle and give some blood flow. But the IT band itself is really, it's got the strength of a car tire. You cannot stretch it. You can only bring some blood flow to it and get the muscles underneath it to get some blood flow so that it can move a little bit easier. What we want to do instead is focus on the TFL. That's the muscle that starts the IT band. It's at the top of your hip. So if you find your hip bone, this bony outcropping in front, and you're going to go right next to it. So it's basically, there's glute medius behind, TFL right in front of it. So it's, again, we're going to be kind of front side plank when we do this. So I'll show you here what it looks like. Make sure you can see. I'm going to come onto kind of a supported front side plank. Not really a side plank, right? Glute medius is on the side. I'm just going to turn my body a little bit to get the front fibers of this. And we're rolling right up next to the bone on the outside, the front of your hip, and then down just a little bit. Look for trouble. I'm trying to find mine. I don't think this side has the problem in the TFL. I think it's my other side that has the TFL issue. But anyway, so you're going to find this. And then same thing, when you find it, you're going to try and relax. You can again support yourself with a bolster and or a block so that you don't have to put all your weight on it and then look for issues. Okay? Yeah. Absolutely. Glute medius would be this kind of indent on the side of your butt. TFL will be right in front of it, but not the front of your hip. This is the, bless you. This is your hip bone. Inside here is more hip flexor like your psoas. Just to the side and down a little bit is your TFL. It's a very smallish muscle, but very powerful. Front side of your hip. No, it's okay. I'm just going to throw them away. Front side of your hip. And I'm going to be walking around just seeing how it feels. Rotate a little more forward. Yeah. Think about the front trouser pocket if you were wearing trousers. Once again, it's probably going to make you feel kind of like, whoo, overheated.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rotate more forward. There you go. Take this top leg and put it in front a little bit. There you go. Yeah, top leg in front.
I feel like I'm too far.
Or is this?
Nope, take top look in front and rotate your hips a little bit. Yeah. I know, by the look on your face, you're not sure, and I'm not. So we don't want bone for sure, right? Especially in this spot. Anybody else like?
I'm not sure. I mean, it just feels like there's so much bone that, is this right?
Let me see. That is right, yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, cool.
Yeah. You just want to be like, you don't have to roll on the bone, just below it. You're down some, right?
Yeah, I am.
You had some back stuff recently.
I did, yeah, a little more.
Okay. We're going to get into another spot that I hope will help you as well as Hillary. We'll see how it feels, okay? And I haven't met you. I'm Melissa.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you. Yes. I know. All right. Have we had enough of that?
Yes.
All right. This next one is going to seem really weird. This is your iliopsoas muscle group. There's two muscles here, the iliacus and the psoas. They actually connect to the inside of your spine. So like, if this is my backside and this is my spine, they connect to the front side of your spine and they come through the body to the top of your femur to help you do this. So if they're tight from core work, sitting at a desk all day, lots of hikes, heavy deadlifts, like the standard deadlift that we do. If they're tight, they're going to actually pull you into a back bend without your permission. And then you're going to end up with all of this restricted tissue tightness back here. So this is one of those where if this is tight, if this is your main complaint, this is where we're going to try and roll. So the way we do this, it's going to feel like you're going to be like, wait a minute, am I rolling my intestines? Am I rolling an ovary? What am I rolling? Everything moves out of the way for the ball, I promise. So you're going to find that front hip, and you're going to find your navel, and you're going to right between the two of them. That's where the ball goes. Okay, right along the inner edge of your hip. And then to do this, you lay on your stomach. This is the meanest one. Not the meanest, it's the most invasive. It's the weirdest one, because you're like, wait a minute, feels like I'm rolling my breakfast. No. And then here, I don't know if you can see where I've got the ball. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. It's basically next to my navel, next to the hip, between navel and hip. And I'm going to look around for trouble. If I arch my back, this puts the muscle is not relaxed. So we want to actually lay on our stomach and look for the problem. You're going to go all the way up to almost the rib. So what I just did, the ball was here to start, and I got nothing from it. So I moved it up, and then I moved it up, and I moved it up. We don't want to roll the ribs, especially the floating rib. So don't roll, once you get towards rib texture, don't roll that, because we don't want to piss off your ribs. We want to stay just below that, down here. You can go all the way down. We don't need to roll this little kind of V shape that our pelvis makes here. We don't need to roll this. There's not just the inguinal tendon, but the inguinal nerve travels through here, and that'll just make it mad. So stay above that. Everybody on your stomachs. I'm going to walk around and make sure you have it in the right spot and be there to help you. I'm going to eat my orange. I know, I like it. It's a prop that you get to eat. So whichever leg you have the ball on, the other leg opens up to a figure 4 or tree next to you. And what that's going to do is help you sink into the ball more. And then look up the chain and down the chain. You're going to scoot your body back if you need the ball to roll higher, or scoot your body forward if you need the ball to roll lower. Questions. Call me over if you're like, what? This feels just wrong. No questions, so I think everybody found it. Yeah? Okay, if you found this spot, let's do a little test. Now, If this is already intense, you can stay where you are. Don't change anything. But if you're like, that's okay, but I could use a little bit more, what I want you to do is let your affected knee, so we've all got it on the right side, correct? Okay, so you're going to let your right knee be on the floor. You're going to bend your right knee and pull your ankle towards your butt and then re-straighten it. It's just kind of like bend and flex that knee. Bend and straighten the knee. So what we're doing is we're putting that muscle under tension. You might even feel the line of pull from the muscle as it's being stretched. So we call this a pin and stretch. So imagine like you are making taffy. I've never made taffy, but I've heard about it. So once it gets to that point where it's got that taffy-like tendency, you're going to you're going to stretch it. And if you want to stretch it only in one direction, you're going to pin it and pull with the other one. So your knee is pulling on your muscle. The ball is pinning the muscle. Try to relax your neck as you're doing this, because if you're cranking your neck, you're going to feel some neck pain after this, and I don't want you guys leaving mad at me. I want to hit one more spot on this same area. Just move down or up the chain on this same spot. Looking for trouble. Breathing deep to give yourself a little pep talk of breath, like it's okay. My boss isn't mad at me. I just need to roll out a little bit. It's just a ball. I'm not in trouble. All right. I agree. Both for timing and also for making sure you guys are even, because we got the other hip to get through. All right, take a second. Just give yourself a little like, whoo. Anybody need a towel? Anybody hot and sweaty yet? Okay, we'll get you one if you need one. Yeah, grab it. And you guys missed the first part where I talked about not drinking heavily the night before a rolling session and making sure you are hydrated during, before and after your rolling session, so that your body can flush out all the toxins we're going to release into the bloodstream and you don't feel hungover on a Saturday afternoon. Like, wait a minute, I did everything healthy. Why do I feel awful? Stored toxins. All right, we're going to start with the second side, just where we started. So you're going to lay on your back in a bridge. You're going to put the ball right here, kind of like mid part of your meaty muscle of your butt. And you're going to samba sway side to side so that the ball travel sideways. Yeah, move bolsters out of your way for this one. We want your hips. Yeah. We want your upper body on the floor. I don't want to crank your neck while you do this. Looking for trouble. Find a spot. If it's like spasmy, move to a neighbor. If it's hot, move to a neighboring spot. If it just feels kind of, whoo, that's feeling a little twitchy, you might be in the right spot. And if it is, we want to try and soften over it as much as you can. So give yourself a pep talk, talk to your nervous system. And then we're going to we're on our left side now, right? We're going to clamshell the knee of the left knee open and closed. If you clamshell it open, the ball can sneak deeper into the crevice of your hip. And you might keep it open and do a little more sway, or you might open and close. Yeah. Looking for pain, looking for issues. I know. This is a hard sell, this workshop. Some people are like, I have to come because I'm in pain. And some people are like, I don't want to roll. That doesn't sound fun, even though we need it. So thank you guys for showing up. And I always think about this as like, if you're already in pain because of just restricted fascia and muscle, you may as well temporarily increase the pain so that afterwards you can have diminished pain. So choose your pain. And this is also a pain you get to control and decide how much, right? Having your feet there and being in bridge, you get to choose a little less. Okay, let's move so that we're on the side of the butt. So everybody's going to slowly rotate towards the sink. You can take the ball out from underneath you to do this. Yeah, like I've had enough practice that I can like roll with the ball in the side of my butt, but I've been doing this for years. Yeah, get that bolster to support underneath your armpit to give you a little support if this is like, holy God, that's intense, Melissa. Cool. Keep going. Yeah, I know. Sorry, not sorry. It's that tough love part of training where I'm like, on the one hand, I'm giving this to you because I love you. On the other hand, you can call me names. You can swear. You can be mad. Did you guys read that report about how swearing actually diminishes pain?
Oh.
There's a mechanism in the brain that is, I don't know all the science behind it, but that when you are in pain or when you're in struggling, like a hard lift or top of a hike or something like that, letting out your favorite swear word, as long as it's okay in the company you keep, is a great way to kind of like dissipate your pain sensation. And when I saw that, I was like, I knew it! Yeah. So we're on glute medius, and some of us have already moved to TFL. We can move to TFL, or you can stay on glute medius for another moment if you need. TFL is more of the front version of this same area. So you're kind of still on the same below the hip point spot, so that front trouser.
So you're not supposed to use the bolster, you think?
I would maybe use the bolster on this one, yeah. Yeah, the one where it's in your midsection in your belly, you don't want the bolster because that's going to arch your back. So this one, you're still kind of front side hip. Does anybody like, where is it? Am I in the right spot? This is one of those weird spots.
It's totally reasonable for both sides to be completely different. It feels like this side is crazy.
Yes.
This side's side.
Yes. No, we're also, think of it like we're also giant puppets, right? Made of meat and water and tendon and tissue and wires we call nerves. So let's imagine one side is tight, then the puppet is going to be pulled, the skeleton, your skeleton is going to be pulled in a weird way, and then there's going to be a compensation elsewhere. So, it could be from an injury you had as a kid. It could be from sitting cross-legged. It could be from carrying a bag on one side. Carrying a kid on a hip is a big one. I was a waiter for years, so holding a tray on one side. My left side is jacked. My right side is like, Here's another little, let's move. If you haven't gotten your TFL, get the TFL. And then we're going to get into the iliopsoas. So this is the one that's in the front, in the navel. So move the block out of the way, the bolster out of the way, so you're not arching your low back, because that's not going to serve you. And it'll just crank your low back up. You're going to lay on your stomach and put the ball on the inside of your hip bone. And then you're going to travel it up towards the ribs and down towards the bottom of the pelvis, the pelvic bowl. Search around until you find something that feels, that's kind of painful. Those of us who came in with back pain complaints, one side or both sides of your iliopsoas is going to feel like, whoa. If you're not finding it, raise a foot. You're not finding it. Okay, can I move your shirt up a little bit? Okay. Where's the ball? I don't want to. Oh, we're on the wrong side. No wonder. I'm like, move it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could also roll down.
Yeah, moving your body down, rolling the ball up a little bit. How's that?
Oh, that feels more interesting.
Awesome.
Great.
Yeah, and there's the option to bend and flex your knee, bend and straighten your knee of the affected leg. Remember, try not to crank your neck while you do this. Our stress will activate the shoulders and neck. We want to try and deactivate that so that we don't leave you with neck strain. What else should you know? A tight muscle is very often a weak muscle. So if you have one side that's a lot tighter, like in your iliopsoas or your glute medius or TFL, that might need some strengthening. We want to stretch it. We should probably strengthen it. So that's why when you're like, hey, Melanie, my back hurts, she's going to give you some things to like help you relieve the pain, and then she's going to give you some things to strengthen the muscles that are angry. Let's take one more minute here, and then we're going to move into a different area of your body. Yep. Other things you should know. If you roll really heavily before your workout, you might be turning off the muscle. We want to turn on the muscle. So before the workout, you want to just, unless you have a muscle restriction, let's say like my right shoulder, like it likes to do, won't stop shrugging. And that means that when I go to do a movement, my shoulder is like, refuses to stay down. Melanie comes over, or Kellen comes over and says, bring your shoulders down. And you're like, I'm trying. That's when it's appropriate to roll a muscle enough to turn it off, is because it's stuck in the on position. Otherwise, before a workout, if you're rolling, it's just a quick roll to kind of bring some blood flow and wake up the tissue. You want to deeply roll either to recover or to restore range of motion if something's restricted. Okay, let's get into a different spot. Everybody kind of sit up, shake it off, maybe take a sip of water. It's 9:51. We've already been rolling for like 35 minutes. That's going to make you feel a little, yeah. Check in with your body. See how it feels. Does it feel a little bit easier in certain areas?
Okay, the one that we just did makes me nauseous. Like, I know what you were saying about it being like very invasive, but it's hard to focus when you're just like a vomit. Like,
Yeah. It just might be that it's got so much in there. You need to take it like, do breaks, right? Do some and then get it the next day or something like that. Because it could totally just be that it's like, too much. Like, I'm already mad. Don't make me madder. But yeah, I get that.
I think it's the other organs too. Like, just feeling, like
Totally could be. Could be breakfast, your intestines.
Yeah.
There are ovaries. It is weird. It is weird. All right. We're going to get into the low back. So for the low back, let's put both balls back in the bag. So this is the alpha twin set. And cinch it. And then we're going to roll around your lumbar spine. Before you start, I'm going to explain everything. So we're going to basically start, at the base of your spine, kind of right on your SI joint. When we're on the SI joint, you don't need to relax all your weight down on it. In fact, don't. We're just trying to bring a little blood flow to your sacrum. And then it's above here that we're going to start finding some more stuff. This is where if you're like, spasm, we're going to take a ball out and we're going to work on the other side and then we're going to come back to this, okay? So we can do one side at a time if you know you got some spasms. Otherwise, we're going to do both sides at the same time. Before you start, it looks like this. So again, I'm going to lay down on my back. Balls are not underneath me yet because that's really like, if I were to put them here and then lay back, that is a really rude way to introduce the balls to your tissue. So instead, I'm going to plant my feet, lift my hips, and put the balls where I want them. And now I get to choose how much weight to put down. And I'm just going to kind of do this along the sacrum. 2 balls on this sacrum should be fine. And then when we get to the next spot, scooch down, and I'm going to try and cat-cow my body. So what I'm doing is pelvic tilts. Drop the tailbone down, flaring your ribs and pushing the navel forward. Tuck your tailbone round. Before you start, let me just show you the next couple of techniques. We can stay here. And then I might bring a knee into my chest. This puts more pressure on it. And if this feels fine, I'm going to put my hands on the floor and I'm going to do kind of a nice bicycle stroke with that leg. And then we'll do the other leg, same thing, holding it. Now, if you're spasmy in this area before you start, we're just do a single ball. If my left side is all spasmy, I'm going to start on the right side above the sacrum. And I'm going to do more of a samba sway side to side, tracing the top of my pelvis. Move up, getting into, it's usually most angry right underneath the ribs. So SI, pelvis, rib cage, right up here is usually where things are the most like, ooh. So one side at a time if you're spasmy. Ready? Starting on the SI with both balls. Because the SI is probably going to be fine. It's the tissue. Yeah, right? So with this, you're just kind of a little up and down moment with this while it's on the SI itself. I know. How's it feel?
It's okay right now.
Yeah?
There's definitely a little bit of activation down.
Down the leg?
Yeah, down the left leg.
Does it feel hot? Does it feel zappy? Does it feel like it's like...
No, I think it feels okay. Maybe slight pinching, but not a lot.
Okay, pinchy's okay. What we don't want is that zoo, 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 that pulse, electric pulse feel.
Pulsing.
Okay. Okay, we're going to move up into the soft tissue above the pelvis. So if you got some spasms, switch to one side. This is single ball. And we're going to go cat-cow. So drop the tailbone down, arching your back, tuck your tailbone, round your back. Getting that pelvic rocking. Or a little side-to-side sway of your hips. I'm a big fan. Like, guys, I'm not a dancer. I talk about the samba sway all the time, but if you take me to a dance hall, I'm going to dance like a white lady. So, just a little disclaimer there. He's like, oh, she must be a dancer. Nope. I'm not seeing any alarmed faces. I am seeing some I'm seeing some bliss, and I'm seeing some, confusion or consternation, a little bit of breathing through it. How's it feel?
Good. I feel it more on one side, which feels right.
Okay.
Same. I feel like it's not spasm, but I can feel it more on the side that is bothering me, but it's not spasm. So I think it's okay.
Good. That's good. Yay.
It's sharp, but not really spasm or fire. Is that okay?
If it's sharp, it is okay, but you might move up or down a little bit to find a neighboring spot, because sometimes the spot that's sharp is going to be resistant to relaxing. And so relaxing a neighboring spot can make it soften. Yeah. What else? Other ways to get some myofascial release, dry needling. If you've ever had that done, where they take a needle and they go in and they shut off a muscle because it's in spasm, it won't turn off. So dry needling is a way to do things. Chiropractic helps because it can release, it can give your joint some space and stop putting pressure on the nerve itself. Actual massage, going and getting somebody else to put their hands or elbows on you is really nice. The balls that we sell are $35, so that's a much cheaper massage. Yeah, massage guns, different size balls.
I mean, how do you know when a massage might make it worse? Like, how can you tell if it's like actually something is torn or damaged and you don't want it to sit there?
I would try rolling it first, and if it doesn't improve, I would go see a PT or a doctor. If, let's say you're doing a lift and you feel it go in the middle of the lift, you know that feeling when you're like, okay, this was not good posture, or it was too heavy and I wasn't ready for it, or something like that, you might have pulled a muscle. If you pull a muscle, we still want to roll and stretch it, but you want to be really gentle because you just want to bring blood flow to it. But in that case, I would still see a doctor before just going to your own medicine. We're like, what do I do? If you're doing one side at a time, switch sides. If you haven't made it up to your rib cage yet, get there. Yeah, the balls grab clothes. So if you got baggy clothes on, you're going to be like pulling them.
It's more interesting as I do it up.
Yes, it's definitely, it gets louder. I like to think of it like, okay, this is already, sometimes it feels like, it's already one of Kellen's emo songs, loud, but then sometimes there's the screaming song. Sometimes you put the ball in a spot and it's like rock, screaming rock.
Both the same song.
Yes.
Wow. That was interesting.
Yeah, that bicycle leg move. Be loving as you do it, not punishing.
Now it feels good.
Good. Yeah. If one side is more intense, you are probably, especially in the lumbar, you've got, I'm going to say probably tighter muscles around the hips. You're using your back on one side because you're not using your glutes or hip flexors or quads properly or hamstrings. So something in the affected leg isn't doing its job and the lumbar is overperforming. And then it complains. So in this situation, if it's much tighter on one side than the other, we got to do some activation and strengthening of the leg muscles of the affected side. Yeah. Usually glutes. Almost always. We're going to spend just another moment here, and I want to get into the upper back and shoulders after this. So let's spend does anybody are they super uneven as far as their one side versus the other side? Yeah? So let's spend 3 more minutes here. And if you're like, I'm not uneven and I want to move on, maybe you go back to a part of your hip or side of your butt or front of your hip while we kind of keep going. You don't have to just keep following along with me and my method while everybody else kind of works on something. Yeah, more hips. What I also love about this practice is that it teaches us where things, what attaches to what and where the tension really is. It's body mapping from the outside in. You might find sometimes when we're coaching you, we'll be like, okay, if you really want to feel this in the right spot on your butt, put your hand on your butt, because putting your hand on the outside of your butt can help you put your mind's attention to that area and can help you activate it when we're trying to activate a muscle. So by doing this, rolling around on a foam roller or a ball on the muscle, you're learning from the outside in where your glute medius is, where your glute max is. Right now we're in your lumbar spine. There's so many muscles. Probably the QLs are the ones that are complaining the most, the quadratus lumborum. They do a side-to-side flexion action. And so if one side is tighter than the other, you imagine it's probably flexing to help you do stuff instead of your hip doing the work to do stuff.
So if it's right in the middle of one side of my back, what muscle is that?
I'm gonna
side?
Yes, it's the QL, yes, which is the side flexion muscle. If you're doing a bunch of these, you'll feel it. But if it's overactivated or tight, it's probably because the muscles of the leg below are maybe also tight, but probably also not strong enough. So we need to strengthen the glutes of that side.
I mean, I pulled a muscle by getting up off the floor the wrong way, so I think that makes sense because I think I twisted it like when I got up.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't lifting or anything, I was literally just getting off the floor.
Yeah.
So that would make sense. Because I think I just twisted it or something.
Yeah, probably. Might have just kind of like made something in there go tweak and spasm.
Yeah, and now it won't stop. It won't forgive me for what I did.
This might be something where like we can help, but a doctor, a PT, or a chiropractor might be able to help you a little bit more.
I started for the last week. I think I'm probably, this is helping a lot.
Good.
But I may also go to something else.
Awesome. Okay, let's move on to the upper back. If you took a ball out of the bag, we're going to put it back in. And we're going to go, before you start, I'm going to explain what we're doing along your upper back. So we're going to start with the balls right at the bra line. So yes, even the guys in here know what the bra line is. So bra line, and then it's going to roll up to the base of the neck. To enter for this, we're going to start with it. Now this is one where you felt what it was like down at the below your ribs. And if you lay back from here, it's going to be like, whoo! So put it above, right around your ribs. And from here, you're going to support your head. We have two options. You can put a yoga block under your head or a bolster under your head with a yoga block on top, either one. And then I'm just going to do this. And let's say you're like, this isn't enough pressure, Melissa. Then you're going to not use the block or bolster. You're going to support your head with your hands, and you're going to do some little crunches. And you can see the balls are rocking underneath me. Okay? And one more thing before you start. If this feels good and you want more, you could lift your hips up and actually steamroll up and down. You notice that my hips get higher as the balls climb up my spine, and my hips lower down as the balls roll down my spine. It can go all the way up to like the tops of your shoulders. If it gets behind your neck, it's fine. You're not going to hurt yourself. You're just probably going to like come off the ball and have to start over. So if your first time doing it and you know you're like, maybe try the block. And then if you're like, no, it's fine. This area feels like the massage you pay for. You're like, yes, finally. It's time for the cheesecake part of this. It's still intense. The first time I gave this to my mom, she was like, honey, are you sure? And then as we worked together longer, I trained my mom for a short time. There were days when I was like, all right, let's get a plank. And she's like, can we just roll today? Which is why I don't train my mom anymore. God love her, but your mom doesn't listen to you the same way as a client would. You try. Yeah. Same thing with your kids, yeah. Yeah, my husband is a swim teacher, or he was a swim teacher. And when my son was learning to swim, I think around age 4 was when he stopped listening to my husband, and we had to get him in lessons. He was like, no.
If you're a doctor, you don't treat your kids.
Say again?
If you're a doctor, you don't treat your kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a reason. Doctors, dentists. I mean, although a lot of doctors, I've had doctor clients, and they'll step in and be offering advice. Yeah, the steamrolling now. This will grab your hair. So if you got long hair, pull it out of the way, please, because the balls are meant to grab skin when you're rolling. And they don't know the difference between skin and hair. And it'll be like, next thing you know, you'll be rolling, you'll be like, So, yeah.
That feels good.
Elbows wide gets the edge of the shoulder blades. Elbows together helps the shoulder blades spread apart a little bit, which can put the muscle into tension and get a little stretch. So both are correct. Play with it. See which one feels better. Up and down the spine. Going all the way from base of the bra line up to neck. How you doing over here?
Didn't think this was gonna be hard.
Yes.
That feels
Yeah. In teaching this workshop for so many years, I've learned that this is also sneaky core. So we've done some supported planks. We've already done some supported planks doing your front of your hip. And now we're getting a bridge. So your glutes are getting a little activation after we rolled them. You're welcome. All right, we're gonna switch to a slightly different methodology, and I've lost one of my balls, so I'm gonna use yours for now. So we're gonna take a single small ball, and if you're like, who has a lot of gnarly tension in their upper back? Okay, we might trade you with a cushier ball. We'll see how it feels, okay? Because you have a lacrosse ball. We'll see. Yeah. All right. Yeah. This is me not having quite enough balls. Awesome. Okay. So what we're going to do, Aisha, can I use you as a model? Can you stand up? Because I can't really reach on my, hand me that. Told you we'd be chasing it like puppies. So turn your back, okay? And we're going to start on the right shoulder. We're going to put the ball right along the base of her right shoulder blade. So the shoulder blade between shoulder blade and spine. And we're going to lay back on it with either a block under the head or a block under the tailbone if you want more weight in the ball, right? So block under the tailbone loads more weight, block under the head, less weight. You choose. And what you're going to do then is take your arm, do things like this, or out to the side like this, or across in front, or even up behind. If you go behind, look at what that did to her shoulder blade. It wings her shoulder blade. This allows the ball to sneak in deeper. So this is if you want more intensity. But what we're doing is that pin and stretch action again. Okay, so everybody on your backs, using the smaller of the two balls. And if you're like, this is way too much, Melissa, I've got one more set of balls up there I can open up. So let me know, okay? Woo. Okay.
done this before. This is part of a PT routine.
Ah.
Familiar.
Yeah. Oh, you lost the ball.
Good.
Yep. Head on the floor is more weight in the ball. Head on the block is less weight in the ball. Yeah. So you can play with your arm however you need. You can go overhead, reaching up and back. You can go kind of snow angel if there's stuff around you or somebody next to you. We might navigate that. I can come and move some toys out of the way.
What do you mean if you actually, like, if it feels like something is shifting, like your muscles are like fibers are moving?
Yeah, they actually are.
Okay, cool.
It means
that's not anything other than
yeah,
movements, right? Like,
yeah. And it could be that you're rolling over a bump, an adhesion in the muscle, and you need to try and like stay on that spot. Because what'll happen is the adhesion will go, not me.
Yeah.
It'll just move away.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Exactly. So.
It's different.
I love it. That is different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's the maximum.
Yeah, hand behind your back is the maximum. This is where you're going to get the most payout for this. We want to trace all the way up the inner edge of that shoulder blade. We're getting your rhomboids and your mid-traps, mid-trapezius muscles.
Oh, so it's okay. Yeah.
Yes. And then, what's that?
Oh, it's like I can feel it right through there.
Yeah. So there's another muscle in there that is probably getting a little massage. It's called your levator scapula. The levator scapula, you would see this if you looked at your handout with the little anatomy map. It attaches to the shoulder blade and the skull and along the spine. And its job is to do exactly what it sounds like. It elevates your shoulder blade. And so if it's tight, then you're maybe stuck in a shrug sometimes. Your right hand is probably, if you're right hand dominant, your right hand is probably going to feel this more than your left. shoulder rather, and vice versa is true. The hand you use for the mouse, for the phone, for, I don't know, all of your fine motor skills, your dominant hand is probably going to give you more sensation from this.
Yeah. Should we switch sides at any point, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we should switch sides if you haven't yet. Let's switch sides because I want to get one more spot on this area. I'll show you what that is in a minute. So this is the massage you would pay for if you're like, I want a sports massage. They're going to go in there with their, you know, elbow or their forearm. Sometimes a good fist. And give you some love. Looking for trouble.
Right here.
Yeah.
So.
That overhead motion.
Yeah, that overhead motion.
Do you feel like it congests at the top of your neck when you do that?
Nope.
I got a yes
bit,
here.
Little bit.
Little
And then
bit.
there's that radiation that happens.
Yeah. This is that referred pain that if it's nervy, ease up. Generally, this spot's not going to leave you any nervy stuff. It's just going to refer pain out to the outer shoulder blade or something like that, or out to the shoulder joint because it's really. Let's spend another 2 minutes here because I don't want to leave you guys uneven, but I also want one more spot on your neck if we can. Man, we did some moving of furniture in here. I'm like, we have so much more space. We could fit at least 2 more people in here. We cap it at 9 participants because in the past, that's all we've been able to fit, and it's been crowded. But I'm like, look at this. We got 9 people here, and there's still room for 2 more bodies. So that makes me happy because I want everybody to be able to attend these. We want to be able to hold workshops every other month if we can. In the summertime, we probably won't get every other month because people travel a lot. So July and August we won't, but we're looking at something for September. And then again, November, January, blah, blah, blah. You can always bring a friend to these too. So we want to meet them and help them. All right, let's take that ball and I've lost my, oh, here's mine. Mine's a lacrosse ball. All right, so now, Aisha, can I use you again? Can I use you again? Sweet pain? I know, it feels good. All right, so now we're going to take this ball, and we're going to go along the top of the shoulder blade. This is that area where if you go to a massage therapist, you're going to be like, just hammer it, beat the crap out of it. So we're going to go along the top of here. And when you're in this position, you definitely want to bridge because if you don't, you're not going to have any pressure. So you're going to put the ball here and then you're going to plant your feet and lift your hips up into a bridge. And then bring your arm out to a goal post, bend your elbow. Good. And then from here, you're going to straighten your arm up overhead and back down in this move. All right? So this motion here is going to cause this to get more congestion. We're flexing the muscle, which makes it more porous. Think about like, I don't know, a chicken breast. You stretch it out, less. Smush it together, more porous. Or think of a sponge. That's a much nicer image. A sponge stretched out and dehydrated is brittle. A sponge that is, moistened and squished together is more porous. So flexing, relaxing, doing this move. Let's try. Pick your shoulder that needs the most attention first. Right or left. Your block or bolster can be there. I think block under your tailbone to support your bridge. This is a tricky one where the ball, you're going to be like, it's got to be in the right spot. And it's not. If it doesn't feel like somebody's elbow pushing on that beautiful spot in your upper trapezius where you want the release, it's not in the right spot.
Yeah, that's about right. Whoa.
Whoa, yeah. Raise your hand, raise your other hand if you're not in the right spot. If you're like, where is this? Am I doing it right?
A spot. I don't know if it's the right spot.
Let me come over. So, you got it here. It's the right spot. Can you relax this elbow down? Do you need to support your head here? Do you want to? There you go. And then up overhead and back down.
It's this also.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's another area I want to hit. I don't know if we're going to have time.
Well, I think we are right now for me.
There you go. See, I think you're going to stretch.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who weren't hovering over Kate, she was talking about her pec minor being tight. So the front of your chest, when that's tight, it's going to pull your shoulder forward and it's going to make it hard for you to raise your arm overhead. So that can be an area to roll as well. And that is on your handout. I wanted to make sure we got like the greatest hits today. And I've left you with resources to dig deeper and do more on your own. You can get right close to the neck and then right out next to the shoulder. There's a bony outcropping here where your collarbone and your shoulder blade and your humerus bone all meet. Don't roll that bone, roll up right next to it. It's like the ball will feel like it's in a little ditch. And then it'll hit like a dam in the water. Don't roll the dam. That's your bone. I told my husband that we were doing 90 minutes of rolling. He's like, they're going to die. This is the best part, though. This is where I'm like, I want to make sure we left time for this. Otherwise, I would have spent, like, when I used to teach these workshops at yoga studios, I would separate it into 2 workshops, lower body and upper body. And it would be like 2 hours for the whole lower body. We'd get the feet, the calves, the adductors, the abductors, the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, and low back. And people would leave, like, dying. On the hip flexors? Yeah. So we got into this part of the hip flexor, and we got into this part of the hip flexor. Quadriceps. You've got one quadricep that also flexes the hip. Yeah. And I would put a foam roller, because the ball will actually not get the muscles right. The muscles will kind of like go around the ball like, a delta in a river. So you want, in that case, a log, a foam roller, to roll up and down on that. And you can do that from a supported front plank. All right. This is my favorite one. We're all going to stop for a second. And I'm going to demonstrate this one. I'm going to take my earring out. Okay. I'm going to show this both standing and laying down. I'm going to get the side of my neck right here. Right where there's just tons of trouble and angry tension from, overly shrugging, lots of mouse work, lots of phone work, lots of stress. So I'm going to get the block as a level up. It's going to help lift the ball up. The ball's going to go on top. My neck is going to go on top of this. So imagine I'm laying sideways, right? I'm in the fetal position, laying sideways, and I'm just going to do this. Okay, it looks like, if you can't see, make sure you can. Here, get your hair out of the way because the ball will eat your hair. And then you get to decide how much weight to put down on here. Shake your head, trace your skull, and get right up behind the ear and right along the back side of the neck, tracing the skull along the side. Your turn. The smaller balls can also work for this. I would just put the block on the second level, but I would try the big ball first because the small ball, Yeah, one of the bigger balls from earlier. Because otherwise, it's pretty intense with a small ball. It's like the difference between a fork and a spoon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's much better.
Yeah. You're like, ooh, why do I do this? Yeah. When you find a spot that's like that needs the release, you can stay there and just do a gentle nod or shake or bobble. Think of it like, I don't know, like the Tin Man when Dorothy gives him the grease, and then it's like, you're just trying to soften up that tissue and mobilize the joint of your neck. Don't mash it to oblivion. Don't push down really hard. These areas of your neck can refer to a tension headache sometimes. So if you're like the kind of person who clenches their jaw all the time like I do, we can release the muscles below the jaw to help restore some, sense of joy in your neck. But if you overdo it, there's a lot of nerves that travel through here and they can just get really mad. So don't roll angry on this spot. Then we can get the other side in a moment if you haven't already. And I'm telling you to get both sides. We've got like 5 or 8 minutes left to get both sides. And if you're like, nope, side A was better, go back to it. Make sure you're not going to fall off the cliff of that yoga block. So if the yoga block is not in the right spot and you roll off, it's a pretty rude awakening. You're like, oh, I was enjoying that. Kaplunk. Spend another moment here if one side was better than the other. I have one more little treat if you are feeling great. You want a little bit more. We're going to take the same action except that instead of going along the side of your neck, we're going to go along the jaw or the temple using the block. Same thing. Trace the side above your cheekbone, especially here, don't mash down because you just might give yourself a headache. Along the jaw, don't mash down, look for muscle and just give it a gentle massage. But if you are like mashing it, you could actually cause some inflammation in your jaw. So be careful, be loving. I mentioned those of us who grind our teeth. Whether you have a night guard or not, your jaw is often clenched. And that goes not just into the jaw itself, but up into the temple. We call that the sternocleidomastoid. It connects to your collarbone, travels up through your neck, through the jaw, through the cheekbone, to the temple. So tension headaches can be released by doing this. This is why rubbing your temples feels good, but you can also do the jawline. Kate, we're getting here and here. We're going to spend like just 5 more minutes rolling, and then I'll turn the lights out. We'll take a little nap. We started a couple minutes late. Everybody okay if we go 5 minutes over, if it's not cruel? Okay. Yeah. Occasionally you might just even, instead of laying on the ball, you could use the ball as its own massager. If you're doing that, I would lay on my back to do it, not lay on your side, because then you're like activating your neck. That's going to come help. Okay. Let's put our props aside. If you want, you can support yourself with a bolster or not. Just lay on your back. I'm going to turn the lights out. And we're going to take a little Shavasana. So I did teach yoga for quite a while. And turn off the lights, which means everybody at home. Is it still good lighting? Awesome. All right. So bolster can be under your head. It can be underneath your knees. It can be along your spine, vertically with your knees open like a butterfly. Whatever feels good. If it's under your knees, your legs are straight and your knees are kind of like, yeah, it's just like, you feel how it lengthens your low back. Yeah. Does this feel good for you, Hillary?
Yeah, I'm going to try it against my knees in a minute.
Yeah, okay. So the goal for this is to soften and surrender. Shavasana is translates to corpse pose. Sounds kind of dark, but you know, like none of us are going to get out of this life alive, so we may as well practice letting go. It's a great opportunity to practice just breathing and not doing anything. If your mind is a monkey mind and it needs something to do, give it a mantra. My favorite is just let go. You can use it with your breath. On the inhale, let. Exhale, go. I'm going to turn off my voice so that you can try and turn off your thoughts. Come back into awareness of your breath. And you can start to gently wake yourself up by wiggling your fingers and toes, deepening your breath as you go. Bring the arms up overhead, straighten your legs out in front of you. We're going to do a bliss breath. It's one of my favorites. You're going to take an inhale. At the top of your inhale, you're going to inhale again and then exhale. Sounds like this. Do that again. Big inhale. And then another inhale. And let it go. Gently roll to one side. You choose which side. If there's a bolster underneath you, you might have to navigate that. And then use your hands to sit up, pressing up gently, kindly, coming to a seat, opening eyes, back to normal. All right. Hydrate. And then after a rolling session like this, it's really helpful to move the body. So a long walk. I know it's kind of a rainy day, but it's fresh air. Go do some movement at home, some yoga, some of your homework from your trainer or your PT. And then I don't know what else to say. Thank you guys so much for coming to this. This is a fundraiser for Pure Seattle. So we have our QR codes here. The bottom QR code is where you donate to Pure Seattle. You can click that. It goes straight to a place where we're collecting donations. The donations are going to go for the whole month. So at the end of June, the end of Pride Month, I'm going to send them a check with everything that we've raised, and I'll let you guys, we'll update you as to how much we raised. The balls that we used, we sell all of them, except lacrosse balls, because you can buy those anywhere. So the yoga tune-up balls, the alpha balls, are $35, I think, before tax. And then let's see, the prices are up there. 35, 22, or 18. So for the really small ones, this guy, oopsie. So for this guy, for a set, it's 18. For this guy, for a set, it's 22. The alpha are my favorite. They are the 35. And then everybody in the back row, and you two, had new sets of alpha tune-up balls. So if you would like, you could buy those at a 15% discount because we've opened them. So hard to sell them at full price now. So let me know if you'd like some. If you have questions, I'm here. And then for everybody at home, donate at the link. And this will be on our live channel, on our Instagram page for I think for at least a month for anybody at home who had to skip out and leave halfway through. I think that's it. Happy Pride.